Okay, hi. This is my Pecha Kucha assignment about limited resources for students, families, and education. Hello, my name is Jade Hoogestraat, and my Pecha Kucha is focused on the dilemma of how the amount of resources that are being provided to our students and their families based on their severity of their situation. All situations may not be the same severity level as others. In my few years of teaching, I have noticed some support my school district is providing to our families. For example, the school provides backpacks for students as well as winter coats. I began to wonder if severity of the family solution matters when I noticed each student on the extra meal list was receiving the same bag of food. This dilemma of it, the level of severity of the situation our families are in causes us to focus on our connections from school to home. Schools have improved immensely with providing their families with support, but are the schools providing the right or enough support when what is provided is the same to all different situations? As to most individuals, it is ethical to support others in the community. Equity comes into play with the concept of it having a mixed amount of resources is the best way of providing the support these families are in need of. As educators, this dilemma of lack of amount of resources being provided to our families come from the principle of responsibility to the school community. With positive intentions on equitable outcome would be considering looking into the level of severity of the situations to help support the families within the community. I have always heard and noticed different ways my district supports our families. A few of my students were receiving the same support as of taking an extra meal home Friday evenings. As an educator, I think it is wonderful the school is willing to support, but my mind always went to how the students' situations were so different, yet they were receiving the same thing. As my perspective is focused on the amount within this dilemma, their perspectives may swing towards criteria that families are needing to meet to gain different supports, or others may seek reasonings for specific supports when their families are needing to show action to maintain or increase their supports. All different perspectives will aid in helping this dilemma. Although there are many perspectives and individual differences with morals, one way others can interpret this dilemma is how most of, if not all, end goal is to provide all students the ability to grow and become a functional human in their community and society. When this dilemma was brought to my attention, the insight raised even more questions. Personally, I found that I was very hyper focused on only one factor. With these kinds of dilemmas, people need to look into their systems, guidelines, criteria, outside resources, and other additional party rules. As an educator and an individual within this community, I can take the steps to understand the support and resources we provide to our families. I can ask clarifying questions and identify all parties that contribute to helping the district's families. With this new information, I can also feel confident in the supports that we are giving. Many communities have found different ways in supporting their families. With a quick search, you are able to find pages that allows individuals to give to help their own dilemma, like this link for chronic absenteeism through communities in school. Other resources includes ideas to strengthen families and schools connection for better support. The U.S. Department of Education is also a great resource. On their resource page for families, provides different topics to identify the correct way to most relevant resources to support families in their unique situations. It is important for educators to be familiar to all different resources to be able to guide their families if needed. Students and families that are in need of support but may not be receiving enough is a big deal. As educators, schools, and a district, it is important to have well knowledge of the access of resources your school provides. Educators should also be able to identify who they could reach out to finding supports for their families are needing. Reaching out to find more information for supports with families' consent may change their lives. Districts looking into their supports will improve the systems to better meet the family needs. An article, Is the Balance School Pay Truly Balanced? Pushes educators to reflect and gain knowledge if they are needing to alter daily activities within the day to benefit students more. A different article that is called Reproducing or Reducing Inequity looks into the limitations of resources for families. The article pushes concepts that are generally overlooked as of the roles the schools are able to play and how or why families are willing or will not ask for specific kinds of help. Generally, individuals think of families that are needing support or receiving that tangibles from resources. As educators, we can also provide learning opportunities, not only just for the students. School supplies and financial literacy for families in poverty. Article 2, the idea supports the families by providing classes to practice financial success. Other sides of supporting families to their severity of needs. As supports, some end up reflecting pros and cons of working with families so closely. The article Working with Families in Urban Teacher Education provides a point of concern of not generally knowing what the resource is comfortable about and where the line is drawn. It is important to keep in mind the needs and concerns from our resources. As an overall view, it is important for our colleagues to have general background about the resources their district provides. If resources stay unknown, we may never get to the place where the students' needs are not met to their severity of their situation at hand. When I came across this dilemma of resources, may not be meeting students' individual needs, had made me more interested in the ethics and equity of how the schools run overall. Choosing a dilemma has created the opportunity for reflecting on the model code of ethics for educators had opened my eyes. In the end, every situation is different from one another. The amount of growth schools had with the access to resources for their families have already changed so many lives. It is at this point in time to dive deeper in these resources to see we have, as schools, can better support our students and families' needs. Thank you.